doing, hey, can we make Crouching Tiger? Can we do our own slow-mo kung fu movie? Or martial arts, I should say. So the fact that we got The Matrix, I didn't even realize The Matrix came out in 99. I thought it came out in 2000.
Yeah,
that's fucking wild.
I think Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is far newer than people give it credit for.
Or older.
2000. No, I for whatever reason, when I first watched Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, I thought it was like I thought it was old when I was young.
Right. That's what but
it wasn't.
Right.
Yes, I remember watching it and thinking, being surprised that it had come out just earlier that year.
Yeah.
I didn't even. Yeah, that didn't. I didn't even know about that until I was like a month ago, years old.
Right. See, it's just wild.
I was today years old.
It's wild because of the slow motion shots, those slow motion action shots that we get nowadays, and we take so for granted. Because when Matrix came out, then Crouching Tiger came out, and then everybody started doing the like sound effect, slow motion,
bullet time.
I don't
time.
think Matrix got famous for bullet time, but they also got famous for the rapping bullet time.
Right.
It was like the bullet time while they moved.
Where they have
they moved around. It wasn't just slow mo. They've done
Right.
slow mo for years. It was the rapping effect.
Okay, so then what was the first slow mo movie? And this doesn't even have to do with
I
the
think
podcast. This is just in general, like, because I know Matrix really were like, this is gonna blow your mind. You need to watch The Matrix. There's a slow mo, like a slow mo, like Indian, or no, there's a slow mo martial arts fight, and it's fucking crazy, right? And then you get to Crouching Tiger, and they slightly do it better.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. The Voyage de la Lune. Yeah.
Voyage to the Moon was the first slow motion movie. Like,
because it was like the first that used all the special effects that we know today.
Right. That was the whole feature of the movie too. Is like, come see everything.
That was the one it was famous for, the shot with the rocket in the moon's eye.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is even pulling further back to French films. Wow, it's all connected. It's all connected. It's all fucking connected.
Mais monsieur, c'est le français.
All right.
Well,
so
Rich, this is the official opening.
Right.
So I've got to ask. Today is another Raised by Spoilers.
Howdy, everybody.
We got you back.
Hello.
With another movie that you shoved down my throat.
I did. I actually a lot of the guys on the original podcast, the Ronin Geek podcast, all agreed with me. Not necessarily saying that this movie will change your life, but it is definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, so first of all, we've also got another guest here that's never been on the podcast, I don't think.
Bonjour, monsieur. Hi, this is Nathan.
Oh, so Rich, I think we'll let you introduce yourself again.
Hi, everybody. I am Geek Movie House. I am one half of the Geek Movie House right now with me. My name's Rich. I kind of throw weird, obscure movies at Adam, and we're here doing another one.
That's what this is all about. And I'm Plebeian Adam from the official Ronin Geek podcast. Now, one thing I want to bring up is this movie surprised me because you brought this up to me at first.
Yeah.
And then immediately everyone's like, oh, Adam, yeah, I know you need to watch that on Raised by Spoilers. That everyone that I knew watched this.
Has seen it. Or a version of it.
Okay, fair enough.
Right.
And then even Nathan got in on this.
It's true. I watched this years and years ago. I remember being in grade school or high school when this came out.
Right.
This to me is a perfect Raised by Spoiler movie because apparently everyone I know has watched this but me.
Which is so weird because...
And I hadn't even heard of it
right.
until now.
Which is so weird because like everyone... It's so funny because of like everyone we talk about has like seen it or seen a version of this movie. But originally, this movie was hard to get. Like the copy we have right now, I got off eBay and it is the Korean version of the director's cut for not worldwide release. I want to say there's a Canadian version that has 3 discs and
3 discs.
Yeah, when it was originally released in France, it came in like a leather book.
Okay, that's pretty rad.
Like it was, dude, there is a whole cult following behind this movie. I don't think we've actually talked about the movie we're watching or we're talking about.
Holy shit, we didn't.
We didn't even start with that.
Well, fuck that.
Hello, everybody.
What movie did you bring to me?
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Raised by Spoilers. Tonight, we are watching or talking about. So what we're going to ask is pause it, go look it up. I believe it is on Shudder. But we are reviewing and unpacking Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Yeah, what a crazy movie.
Came out in 2001. It's a French period horror drama.
Hence the introduction in French.
Oui.
Monsieur.
I think this movie is very interesting because it brought forth, there's a lot of known actors on here.
Yep.
And yet I had never bloody heard of this thing.
it was kind of big, not like it is, but it isn't. It's weird. It's a movie that kind of faded away.
All right, so I've watched this movie the most recently.
Right.
I don't know if you never got a chance to really rewatch it like in the last week or two because I stole your copy.
It's all good. I'm
you
good.
Seem to have watched this movie a lot.
I have watched it once, and you are all going to get a deep dive on how the Geek Movie House brain works, because I can probably do it shot for shot right now.
All right, why don't you go ahead and give us a rundown of this movie?
Oh boy. Okay. So, with the worst, and we're going to do it as loosely as we can. Le Pacte de Loups is a French film, came in 2001. It is based off of the folklore or tales back in the 17th century, not 18th century. It says that on the Wikipedia. But pretty much the government calls in monster hunters to deal with...
And not the kind of monster hunters that fight with big swords.
Yeah, we don't have Jerry Riviera.
They're more like naturalists.
They're naturalists. They are very much naturalists. Very, very much naturalists. To come in and deal with a problem. For some reason, poor people, mainly, and let's call them traveling people, Romanian people. Yeah, traveling people. Romani people. And traveling people.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
Let's just
But not,
yeah.
not,
There's like a ha, and then there's like
and I learned this from somebody who lives in Ireland. Never ever call them travelers because that's the N word.
Right. Closer to the mic. And there's a whole emphasis. Oh man, I'm gonna go all over the place. I'm already spinning out of control. Are you ready? There's a whole emphasis here on the poor, or it's not the beast. It's not the beast. It's the traveling people. It's the Romani people. They're the problem.
Okay.
They're why these people are the whole plot of the movie is falling apart.
Really, you got this? I never got that from this at all.
Well, it's the same thing. Oh, dude, there's a lot there. That's how it all. We're all over the place already. We got to do the plot, and then we'll discuss.
Let's start.
Because there's
so
much. There's so much to even Adam. There is so much to even the set dressings and the costumes where the rich people are wearing red.
Yeah, so
and there's so much red in this film, from blood to the petticoats to all of the dresses and stuff to the peasants who are using berries to dye their clothes red to look like they have some sort of wealth on them. There's a lot to unpack in this film. Fucking film.
Now, I do have a question in the opening scene about because it starts off with some Romani people getting beat up by people. Are they wearing
women's clothes?
Yeah.
Yes, because the stories bouncing around, and we're doing an awful job at recapping the entire movie.
Do you want to start at the beginning and we'll just go from there?
So the stories pretty much were that women and children were strictly poor peasant-like women and children were getting attacked by the beast constantly, right? And this is why it ties back so much to the French Revolution, because it shows the monarchy not taking care of the people. Sure, and this thing is just killing them off.
Or at least half-assed.
So then the monarchy, you're right, the monarchy sends in these monster hunters to be like, yo, go take care of this problem, but make it fucking quick. So they go in and you see the flex where they start killing off all of the wolves.
Yeah.
To be like, hey, we solved the problem.
They go on a massive manhunt with all the wolves and they make a game of it and they have like a pile of wolves.
Right. And it is a demonstration of, hey, we are taking care of you, still fall in line.
Yeah.
So, but it's more of a feel-good measure.
So Brother of the Wolf starts in 1764, where a mysterious beast is terrorizing the French countryside. The king steps up and says, deal with this. And they send in 2 monster hunters who are naturalists. It's fun because they're actually from the Americas. And they go through and trying to start unraveling this mystery of this historically quote unquote accurate time period piece of what through events and word of mouth and whatever was written and documented at the time tells the tale of this beast just ravaging the countryside. So what we run into is the first 2 acts of this film very much are this timely period piece and a mystery, and then the third act just kind of unravels and turns into this huge
it goes from a Game of Thrones
to an adventure. Yeah, it is incredibly, I wouldn't even say fun as much as it's like, oh, everybody's in on it.
Well, it starts off as a period intrigue piece, And then about halfway through, it switches to, I'd say, mild fantasy.
Yeah.
Mild fantasy,
Mild
monster
fantasy
hunting.
Mild
action.
fantasy horror action.
And the
Right,
tone
yeah.
just changes.
Right. You kind of get a little bit more actiony and a little bit more explosions and stuff, but you really kind of see how much of control the monarchy are trying to hold on to their villagers and stuff like that.
So we kind of have this concept, and long story short, there's these two characters that are introduced at the beginning. Do you fucking remember their names? Because I don't.
It
Le
is
Chevalier Fonsac is the guy that looks like Brandon Fraser.
Yep.
How do you get that he looks like Brandon Fraser?
I think he looks like Brandon Fraser.
He does not look like Brandon Fraser at all.
And then we have Samuel. It would be
Gregoire de Fronsac.
so Gregoire is actually Sir Gregoire. He is a knight.
Oh, my bad.
He is a knight.
They called him a chevalier
Yeah,
in
he's
the French.
Yeah, and then there's Manny, who is his sort of. You're not necessarily sure if he's his sidekick or his protector, or we've got a Han and Chewie situation.
He calls him his brother.
Right,
Yeah,
his blood
There's
brother.
kind of like a Green Hornet kind of vibe going on.
right,
there.
right. Where he's not
He
as
might be a
familiar.
chauffeur.
Well, and even then, there is the mention when they start introducing the other like rich people, and they kind of scoff and they look at Manny and they kind of go, "Oh, he's your man. He's
Yeah,
your boy. He's
his
your boy."
valet.
And then there's like, "No, he's free. He's here on his own choice. We are a team."
Yeah, yeah.
He very quickly kiboshes all of that.
Okay, I have
Right.
to confess, the thing that sold this movie to me was the first opening scene.
Oh, the
Agreed.
first fight
Where
scene.
it's raining out,
Oh,
like
what a-
heavy, thick, deep tears of rain. And there's just this villager getting his ass whooped by
Right.
some other villagers, like some woman.
Bandits and
Bandits beating up some woman.
Right.
And they're just treating her like shit. And these two guys, with the tricorn hat, they look like they stepped right out of Bloodborne.
they did. They really did.
Well, I think Bloodborne stepped out of them, but
True, with the big petticoats and petticoats up to their fucking eyeballs. And they just step off their horses, and there's this moment of just badass kung fu ass whoopery.
Right.
And then I feel like it never got. It only had one other fight that equaled that. That movie started off with such a bang,
It does start with a bang.
and then it immediately was like, did you like the boring parts of Game of Thrones?
I did, you know what the thing
the
is
period
there's
piece intrigues.
Yeah.
There's so much. There is so much there. I find where did you like it?
Yes.
Did you like Brotherhood of the Wolf?
I think at the end, and I'll give my final rating,
Yeah.
my final eyebrow rating later, but yes, I would say ultimately I did.
Okay. The further away from I find the further away from this film you get, the more, even if you decide whether to watch it again or not, you do think about it.
Oh,
You
for
do
sure.
kind of go, fuck, right? Like there is no like real solid twist ending. And for everybody, the movie, I believe you can stream on Shudder. It is widely released. It came out 20 years ago. They remastered it. It's on Blu-ray now. Please go watch the movie before you even listen to
This
this
is
episode
raised by spoilers.
it is quite good. I know it's worth a viewing. But when the twists start to happen and they kind of start pulling the rug on some characters and you're actually seeing like, oh fuck, it's not a werewolf. Right. Brother of
Yeah.
the Wolf, this creature is killing creatures thing. There's talk and they mention silver bullets and it's all kind of tongue in cheek and everybody's playing it incredibly close to the chest and you're not quite sure who you can trust. And then the wheels start spinning and the plot starts thickening. And then all of a sudden, not everybody is who you think there are. And it's not werewolves.
They did a good thing of keeping me on my toes with that
Mhm.
because they started off when they introduced Sir Gregoire
Chevalier.
where they introduced the main character. He was at a great little dinner party where he was showing off furry fish
right.
as like, he's telling this.
I've
grand
seen the
tale.
world.
Things
I've seen
he's
the world.
found in his adventures up in the Northern Americas.
Yeah, and he's telling
Right.
these great tales, and all these rich people are just eating it up. And basically, by the end of it, you realize he's just making fun of him.
He is.
Well, it
He's
was-
insulting
he is.
them.
It was Jean-Francois that the ersatz villain of the piece
Yeah.
that pointed out, was like, he's fucking with you.
He's fucking with you because he also was an adventurer, was a traveler,
Yes.
and he had gone to Africa, and he had also kind of been like, "Hey, you've been to Canada, you've been to the Americas, you haven't been to the rest of the world."
It was
kind of
yes.
thing.
It was a great point out too. It was like, oh, you're an adventurer, you're a taxidermist, you're also an actor. and a comedian.
Right.
Yes.
He is, yeah, and it is a Han Solo. It is a smug French womanizer. It is like, it's a fun character. He's shitty, but he's a fun character.
Great, but they do this and they set up this great scenario where, because they're like, hey, he clearly doesn't believe in supernatural beings and in monsters of any sort. He clearly does not believe that. But because of the way they told the tale, every time I kept switching. Is it a monster or is it not? Is it a monster? Is it not? And is this his first real monster? Or is it just another case of he knows it's not a real monster and it's, and he's trying to figure it out.
And they keep walking the line with magic.
Yeah.
And nature.
Yeah.
And this whole being connected with nature and the spiritualism of it. Manny brings, as much as he is silent, he brings a ton to the table.
Yep.
Where it is like, hey, there is this world you do not understand. And what I find so incredibly interesting with Manny is he's not the silent protagonist that's just an idiot.
No.
They don't have this. I don't want to use the trope or trope. I don't want to use the trope, or I want to claim like there's a lot of stereotypes of like the dumb savage.
Yeah.
And Manny was not that at all in the betrayal of the like. He's quiet and he's got it fucking figured out, and there is other stuff happening.
Well, I think he's the caveat to why I kept thinking this might actually be a monster.
What might be a monster movie.
Because he kept having these tinges of, clearly he's a smart guy.
Right.
He's a caring person.
Right.
He's an intelligent person.
There's a lot of intuition.
There's a lot of intuition.
Right.
And he clearly believes in something supernatural.
Right.
Right? These spirits and
Right.
things from his North American culture.
Right.
And so you're sitting there thinking, okay, you have these two partners. One is saying supernatural doesn't exist. The other one is saying, but it does.
It does, and we have to deal with it.
And they're allies.
Right.
And now they're trying to figure out, is this problem that they're about to deal with supernatural or not?
Right.
And you clearly have these two opposing thoughts. Now, the Manny doesn't talk a lot,
No.
but you get the sense of it.
Right. It's shown through the lens of the camera on how he investigates and deals with things. His
Yes.
bracelet, the weird, quiet moments of his beliefs, and just the old magic that he kind of deals with.
No, you can also probably draw some parallels to the X-Files, where you have a partnership where one clearly believes in the supernatural and what else is out there, and the other's just a cold, hard cynic.
When was this?
But
when was
X-Files? Oh, I don't know when X-Files was.
X-Files
Was it
was
before
90.
this?
90.
Oh, well before this.
94.
All right, so this would have copied from that. All right, continue. Sorry.
No, that's all I had to say is there's some parallels to the X-Files, and I want to add in this caveat. I've never actually watched the X-Files. So...
Neither have I.
Jesus. So I want to just jump in quick. This film, Brotherhood of the Wolf, reflects a lot from Jaws. You get Sleepy Hollow vibes.
I definitely get Sleepy Hollow vibes. Where do you get Jaws from? Explain that to me.
This creature, you never really see it. It's hunting.
Okay.
It's
I see
hunting.
what you're
Also-
there's a vibe of Jaws. I would say even Predator, because they're in the, not necessarily the deep, thick forest, but they're in the wilderness trying to deal with this
What's
creature that is
funny-
killing them.
Now, you said Jaws, and there was one scene that I saw, and it was immediately Jaws was my first thought. I think it was one of the opening ones where the monster, there's a woman climbing the rock, and the monster grabs her by the waist and is just like thrashing her around.
yeah.
Right.
And my first thought was, this is very much like Jaws.
It's Jaws, and it's also Jaws because you only get a fin.
They
You
do
only
that.
get like
One of the
it's
spikes.
one of the
Or
spikes. You
a
only
shadow
get
moves
it
in the back.
See,
slowly
what's funny
drops
is
you that.
those concepts of like hiding the beast didn't come from some clever writer, some clever filmographer that thought, I know that just barely hiding the beast is the right thing. It came from budgetary cuts.
Right.
They had to be budgetary. And I think they did the
Right.
same thing because it's a goddamn 3D beast.
It is, but it isn't. Jim Henson did all of the creature shop stuff.
Yeah,
It's a puppet in
In
certain
that scene
shots.
where he was thrashing the girl,
Right.
it was 3D for the most part.
Right. There are a lot of shots that are 3D. We talked about this for some films, especially with 4K up-resing and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The nicer the resolution and the better the picture quality, you're going to start to see stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of movies nowadays, especially CGI, doesn't really
I
hold
was
up
impressed,
anymore.
though, by this CG for being from the age it
Because
was.
it's so dark.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It's a dark movie. How do you hide a monster? Fog. Godzilla, always in fog,
Still,
always at night, always.
I could only imagine if clearly I saw it was 3D. I mean, everything, I almost know everything's 3D when it's 3D, but which is pretty much everything in movies nowadays. But in this one, I could tell clearly, but I wasn't bothered by it. Most 2000 movies, I'd be like, oh God, that's painful. This one, I went, that's pretty good. I could only imagine that if you saw this movie back then, that was impressive.
I mean, you go back and watch the Morpheus heist in Matrix 1, where the helicopter crashes into the building, and that doesn't even look good anymore.
Really?
Yeah. Like, dude, there's some stuff where in your mind with the rose-colored glasses, you're like, holy shit. And now you watch it again, even on Blu-ray, or you stream it on Netflix or whatever. It looks like it's made in the 2000s. It looks like it was made in 98. Like, it doesn't work.
A lot of the humans in Matrix are very rubbery.
That's the second one.
Oh,
the second one, everyone looks like they're rubber, but also you're not quite sure if people are wearing Agent Smith masks and standing behind them, or they just clicked copy and paste for Hugo Weaving and did it a bazillion times.
But they did pretty good on the graphics here, but they did keep a lot to be physical. Like,
yes, absolutely. It's a lot of practical stuff for Brotherhood of the Wolf. The incestual, creepy older brother,
Jean-Francois,
who, for the love of God, plays villains in everything, and he is wonderful,
he's a great actor,
lovely dude. The same actor, Vincent Castle. That's Castle.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Vincent Castle. He did Underwater, but he also was in Beauty and the Beast by the same director.
Yeah, he played Gaston. Didn't he?
I thought he played the Beast.
The recent live action,
the French one.
This
Brotherhood of the Wolf. The director that did Brotherhood of the Wolf went on to make Beauty and the Beast because it's a French story.
Yeah.
So that whole tone and
the
shit.
Prince.
Yeah.
La Bête.
Yeah. Click on that quick. I know we're all over the place again. I'm sorry, everybody. We'll get back.
You have a tendency for this, but that's what we're here for.
It is this weird tone.
Wow.
Yeah, man, it's fucking weird.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a musical or if it's just a dark French drama.
Yeah, what year was this?
2000
Doesn't even 2014. 2014.
14 PG-13, not bad for a Beauty and the Beast story.
Yeah, it's also the same guy that's in Westworld. You've seen him a lot in there.
Yeah,
he does a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
impressive actor.
Yeah.
His little gimp arm or not arm.
Manny is played by Mark Dacascos.
Yeah, so
he is gorgeous in this movie. Are you fucking kidding me? His body, the way he moves, just the combat. Oh,
someone tell me this guy's life story, because you blew my mind the other day. We were just sitting there talking about hip hop, apparently.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, by the way, because we were talking about getting ready to record this.
Right.
And you brought up the fact that this is the same, what was it, Nathan?
The gentleman from Iron Chef.
Yeah.
ALLEZ CUISINE.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, he is the, I want to say he was the commissioner's nephew from the Japanese version of the Iron Chef show, which was brought to America for Iron Chef USA. So instead of biting a pepper, he would smile, wink at the camera boyishly, and take a bite out of a big old juicy apple. And he was the guy who was trying the food, and he was a judge. And
yes,
yeah, he was just a stand-in. The problem is he's just a stand-in Asian dude,
so
even though he's from Hawaii, I believe.
Actually, the nephew of the guy from the Japanese show.
That is a Google rabbit hole.
Right.
I cannot go down right now with you.
So
but
it's the
maybe,
same actor that does the Iron Chef, which is hilarious because he plays, I don't want to say Indian, but a Native American.
Native American man.
He plays a Native American.
I think it was Iroquois if you want to get specific.
Yeah.
Okay, and yet he's Hawaiian?
I want to say he's a Hawaiian actor. So they kind of... They did the thing. They did the thing again. But
I'm okay with it, too.
The reason why, though, Mark... Dacascos is the fucking martial arts king.
Like, was he a martial artist back in his day?
Click on it. He is like the guy. Maybe not the stunt man, but he is.
Oh, he's like John Wick.
He was Double Dragon. He is the guy.
God.
He is the guy.
Go back as far as you can, see what happens.
Like, he is the guy, man.
Oh, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
He is. I'm not gonna keep saying he's the guy, but like Mortal Kombat, like he
was a lot more
fight choreographer. The fucking guy he's done everything.
Wow, yeah, I'm impressed by that. I didn't know that so much about this guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm like, hey, there's gonna be people in here, and you're gonna be blown away because you're like, oh shit, he's in everything, or he did everything, or touched these movies. Same thing with like Monica Bellucci. Like, there's tons.
Was the only not surprised to me. I couldn't put my finger on her. I wish I could, but I couldn't put my finger on where I could find where I've seen her before, because she's younger in this one.
Right.
But it turns out she was in the second Matrix,
second and third Matrix.
Played, Persephone.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the Frenchman.
For the Frenchman. Yeah.
Right.
Fantastic actors. Holy crap.
Yeah. And she's done tons of stuff. Tons and tons of stuff.
Oh, I'm sure she has.
But back to Brotherhood of the Wolf. So the plot: creepy incestual older brother loves his sister, Spoilers, she is the love interest for our gallant knight, and shit hits the fan when a cult is formed to build an uprising of peasants.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen this movie. Build an uprising of peasants.
Something about being backed by the Pope, or the Pope is against it. I can't remember which side the Pope is on this one.
Right? Marie?
No,
Or
Sylvia.
No, Monica Bellucci is Sylvia,
Yes.
is the assassin. This is, okay.
Who
So
works out of a
by
whorehouse.
Act 3, the movie goes off the fucking rails and just gets ridiculous. So Monica Bellucci plays Sylvia, who is an assassin who works for the Pope.
Yes.
Directly for the Pope.
And they kind of inspire this because, like, oh, we've got a new hooker here.
It is Assassin's Creed where it doesn't
And
need...
she's the best one.
Yeah, it's Assassin's Creed better than Assassin's Creed sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, it just blows up.
And yeah, she's there to stop this whole cult because apparently the Pope created a sort of culty thing going on, a secret society to do things. But
Against secret
Pope
societies.
things.
Sorry?
Pope things.
Pope things.
Pope things.
But this cult, this secret society went too far and strayed from the Pope's demands. And they're trying to do really, really weird, fucked up shit.
Right.
Which is why they're getting caught.
And slowly
I think
overthrow the government.
What this was about was they were going to bring in more beasts to show that the king had strayed from the word of God, and the beasts are Satan's punishment.
Yes.
And so they're just going to keep doing this over and over to show that the king is self-indulgent, he's hedonistic, and he's just no longer fit to rule a God-fearing nation.
Yes.
Enter the French Revolution, where the movie sort of ends.
Let them eat cake.
Right?
Yes, they do a really good job of setting up this mystery of, is this, first of all, it's kind of two mysteries. It's one, is this actually a supernatural beast?
Right.
And
Is it werewolves?
Is it werewolves? The other one is it who's the human actor? Who's the evil person?
Right. Who's the head of this?
Who's the head
Who's
of
the
this?
head of the cult?
Because they do show off a person with the beast,
Right.
in silhouetted
And you're
form.
not sure if it's a man or a woman.
Nope, you're not sure.
Well, all we know is he has 2 arms.
There's a silhouette.
Right? There's a silhouette, which is also incredibly bloodborne. There is so
Yes.
much that FromSoft has openly, like Miyazaki has literally been like, no, this is the movie. If you guys like Bloodborne, this is the fucking movie you watch.
Really?
This is what he stole from. Like, there's Berserk, the manga and anime, and then there's this, and then more just Victorian horror.
Yeah, you can copy my homework, just change it a little bit.
Right, just change it a little bit until, it's presentation time. But even with, dude, I can go fucking off the deep end with Bloodborne. Even with the villagers, even with the weapons at the end of it, even with the beasts and the creature design, like, those are just monsters you fight in the game.
Yeah, I guess
For
that makes
all of
sense.
it. All of it is just like, yep, that's that. Those are the weird, like, elongated
So
hairy
by
people.
the end of it, you realize that it is the the Jean-Francois character,
Right.
that
Who does have
actually
2
have a
arms.
second arm.
Everyone needs to understand one thing: we are Canadian, and we're not very good with French names. So we're just
Well.
we're
Okay, here's
trained
the deal. I could
choo-chooing.
pronounce them because I went to a French school.
Then what are you doing?
Because it's fun. Not
What
to.
are we doing? Not? Why are we not doing that?
Because it's fun. Not
If
to.
you've got it, you use
Gregory
I'm not gonna sit
D.
here-
use the if
Fronsac.
you've got the proficiency, use it. Why are we not
I'm
rolling
gonna
with
sit
the
here
extra
and be like,
dice?
Jean-Francois.
Well, then
I'm
throw
not gonna
some,
do that.
some fucking Jean-Francois. That way we can pretend to know what we're talking
I
about.
could. It's Grégoire de la Fronsac.
Well, thank you so much.
not gonna do
okay.
bull art. It's a lot of
Grégoire de
effort.
Fronsac is, if you do it, then I'll fucking start doing it better, and it'll be great, and we'll go So it's Sylvia.
Rolling R's takes a lot of effort.
Now, as a side note, I think I was telling you guys earlier about how I had to watch this in French because I got the wrong copy.
Is there not English in that?
Well,
There was English.
You
Yeah,
watched it in
I
English.
watched
I
it in
watched it in
English.
French. I didn't watch it in English. I didn't.
I'm
realize
more
it
of
was
a dubs over subs kind of guy because I'm a slow reader.
Oh
But
wait, no, you're right. I did watch it in French.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's only in French.
Yeah, I did watch it in French.
a lot of my high school French came back, and I was telling you guys earlier, I was just talking to my dog in French the rest of the night, and he was very confused.
That's fun.
No, I did watch this in
Yeah,
French.
that's the thing. That was why it was like,
I stopped realizing it was French after a while.
yeah, halfway through my first viewing, it was like we paused it, came back, and we were like, okay, let's just keep going, because you just kind of motor through it, and it just becomes second nature at that point. You're having such a if you stopped realizing it was in French, you were, whether it was a slow movie or not, you're invested in the plot. You're in,
Oh, I
and
was
then that's the
invested.
moment. That's the moment where you're like, oh fuck, I'm in. I'm too
I
deep.
was invested.
I'm in too deep.
The fact that I couldn't tell, I can predict movies pretty well.
Sure.
I've seen a lot of movies, mostly newer movies, but I've seen a lot of movies, and I can tell. I can usually figure out who and what's going on.
There's kind of a
I
meta
could
to them.
not figure this out.
Yeah. Well, when the arm comes out, and then when it's like, hey, surprise, it's a lion.
Well, yeah.
Hey, it's a lion, and it's like, okay, cool. When they're describing the beast, and it's like, well, it's 5 times bigger than a dog, and it's got this long tail, and there's spikes, and there's this, and then you
Yeah.
kind of start to see it. You're like, is it a tiger? Is it a panther?
Yeah,
No, there's
they
gotta
just
be.
bolted some armor onto a lion, right?
Yeah, it's just it's a lion in a suit of armor.
Yeah, but they also I think what threw me off is they made clear that Jean-Francois's character was like, oh yeah, I came from Africa and I fought off a lion and so on. It tells the stories. I lost my arm to a lion. Blah, blah,
He's
blah.
horribly scarred.
He's horribly scarred. And you think, oh, the beast is a lion. And then he kind of acts like an idiot and he throws the scent off, and then they show the guy with the arm.
Silver bullets, the guy with the arm.
Yeah, so they do just enough to go, is it him? But is it him?
And to comment on that, even with the arm or without the arm, he struggles. There is moments where he is very proud and very, no, I have this, but he's got like the gun with the hook, so he can still fire and shoot. But there are moments where he is incredibly soft with his sister, and it's gross because it's like he's trying to sleep with her, but he's incredibly soft, and there's moments of vulnerability, and you're still kind of like, is this the fucking bad guy? Because we're doing these side plots, and is this the bad guy? Is the guy that they bring in the hunter or the royal hunter?
Yep. Is he the bad guy?
Is he the bad guy?
Is Sylvia the hooker the bad
Is
person?
she the bad person? Because she's the assassin. Is she just coming here trying to manipulate the entire
whole fucking
dream sequence?
The dream sequence
yeah,
with
where she had dreadlocks and she had a dagger hovering over him, and
well, they do what, opium at one point?
Yeah,
and then they get real fucking weird, and it's like, great movie, great fucking movie.
I think they set up it's one of the first times, it's not the only time, but it's one of the good times where they set up all these characters and all these red herrings, and you legitimately have no idea which one it's going to be, and neither does the main character.
No,
the main character's he's not Sherlock, where he's figured it out and he's waiting for you to catch
Columbo
up.
or Magnum PI. He just doesn't. He's as blind as everybody else.
This also has very much. You said Sherlock right there. I want to throw in it. This also has very Hounds of Baskerville vibes. The Hounds of Baskerville.
I suppose. Yeah,
it's a Sherlock Holmes story.
Oh,
where like a big dog is killing people, and they can't figure out where the dog is or who owns the dog.
Oh, okay,
kind of thing.
Sure, yeah, that makes total sense.
So the movie itself we watched the director's cut. Arguably, it is the only version you should watch. There are huge chunks of this movie that were taken out that would have made certain plots a little bit more confusing. The whole scene where the king pretty much sends in the royal hunter, he goes and kills a dog and brings it back to George. Oh my God, what is his name?
Just call him Fronsac.
Fronsac. I'm so sorry.
Gregoire de Fronsac.
Gregoire de Fronsac. And tells him the king is telling you to tear apart this dog, make him look like a beast, taxiderm him.
Yes.
Do the same thing with the furry trout.
He wanted you to take this wolf that he found.
Say it's over. It's
make
done.
It a beast. Make it as ugly and beastly as you can, so that we can say, "Look, we killed the thing."
Right, and it's over. That actually happened, and when they did that and they brought it back to present to the king, they said it's over. It's done. That was taken out of the movie. That's an added like director's cut scene.
Really?
Like there's huge plots where it's like the royal hunter is just talked about. It never is actually shown. There are a few threads where it's like you start to see the corruption, and you kind of start to see how they're trying to wrap stuff up. And those are plots that are just pulled out of the movie that the director is like, no, this needs to be in the movie. The other one quick thing I want to jump in is when that was presented, the gentleman who wrote Treasure Island at the time went to go see the beast that was terrorizing France, and it wasn't that big. That's what he wrote. He wrote about, I can't remember the gentleman, the author of Treasure Island.
Robert Stevenson.
Robert Stevenson, probably in French, went to go see the beast that was terrorizing France, and it was not as big as everyone was writing. So it was like, there's no way this is the thing that's
not that big.
So two things. One, I did mention in this movie that I feel like this movie, I don't know, there are rules of movies, beats, patterns, the system in making a good movie.
Some might say tropes.
tropes. Yeah, I don't know if tropes are the right word. Tropes are usually a negative connotation, but things like the hero's journey, a certain pattern of Chekhov's gun
Yep.
is a classic thing. This movie gives us a Chekhov's gun that it never shoots.
Yes.
Or it half fires.
Or half fires, I think is a better one. Where, they show off Manny and they show off Gregoire and they show how fucking baller they are.
Mm-hmm.
And then they only show him being baller one other time, Manny. And
like
that's
10 seconds.
for like 10 seconds at the start and then at the arena fight.
Yes, the arena fight, which was pretty good. I enjoyed that.
That was a great scene. Right near the beginning when they were doing the big hunt for all the wolves.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next time when you're like, oh, Manny's getting in his North American gear.
Here we go
Shit's
now.
going down.
Yeah, he's going to be silent and deadly and just go in and wreck
He's wearing
everybody.
a loincloth. He's
Wreck
got his war
everybody.
paint on. He's got his Mall Ninja axe.
But unfortunately, though, you get that general sense, though, of it's going to sound terrible, but this is how like his people lost. He's not equipped, even though he's traveled.
I get that.
Because like guns are still guns, my guy, and you can kind of go in quietly, but as soon as they find you, the whistle's getting blown.
I get that, but that's not what
The
they
exclamation
were setting
points
him
are going
up to
off.
be. That's not the story they were telling, and that's
No.
not what they were setting up. So they kind of screwed that up with setting up. The first scene was a baller scene,
Mhm.
and then the next time, not the next time, the next real time there was going to be a baller scene. The guy ends up just getting shot and dumped over a hill by a bunch of
They allude that he was put on like a torture rack.
He was
for a little
tortured.
while.
yeah, that's true. But they don't really. You get my point. Like
You get half a second of a flashback.
Yeah,
for
you
that.
get a half flashback of him getting tortured for days or hours or whatever it was.
He needed to kill a bunch of people very awesomely
Right.
for it to be okay. The other one, they feel like they have too many scenes. There's another term for it, and I forgot to look it up since the last we were talking about it, which is the term where if it doesn't add to the overall plot, it should not be in there.
Sure.
And there are things where in this one, like because they came in, then they had the hunters who all failed to find them, and then they brought in the royal hunter who failed to find them and make up a story.
He found them, asterisks.
Yeah, it made him make up the fake beast. They didn't need to do that. They could have just done that with the first one and cut out that whole subplot. So quite frankly, the statement of they got rid of that during the not director's cut sounds like I should have watched the not director's cut and it would have been a lot better.
Well, actually, let me put in two things. One, they had to get rid of the first hunter because while he was a failure at what he was doing, he did come back at the end. I think he was the guy that was running the army who arrested all the cultists wearing the red robes.
Yes.
So they had to establish him as like, he wasn't a great hunter, but he was an okay guy.
He's an ally.
Yeah.
He's an ally.
And then they had to establish the second hunter who forged the beast as just a dickhead. Because there's that scene with...
Works for the king,
works
keeps
for the
everything
king.
touch.
Well, there was also that scene where he's sitting in the bath and he's talking to Fransac, and like he's just giving Fransac the business. Like, we don't need you, get lost. And then he tries to, with that maid, and she's having none of it. And he gets real upset when she leaves.
But they could have done all of that. They didn't have to add extra scenes. They could have, or at least added a lot less scenes.
So we should have tried to find the regular version of the film, because I feel like the director's cut does a little bit more world building. They introduce characters. They introduce a little bit more of the aspect of it. He did shoot an incredibly long format of this movie and then had to then go back down and cut it and then go back down and cut
That's
it.
how movies are made.
Yes, unless you're Zack Snyder. So you just keep cutting it and cutting it and cutting it. That being said, that's why I keep saying, like, depending on which version of this film you've seen. The Canadian version is different than the French version, which is different than the UK version, which is different than all of them.
Zack Snyder cut.
That is the true Zack Snyder cut is the director's cut of the film, even though it is technically the longest version of the film.
The most director of cuts.
Right. And that's the tricky thing, because it kept getting edited.
Nice.
And changed. The whorehouse stuff doesn't work in certain countries. The brothel does.
They just
There's
have very
so
different-
much.
Yeah, they just had very different themes throughout it.
Yes.
Now, what did you guys think of the twist at the end? That, okay, it's a cult. It's just a group of people, not an individual. In fact, it's like pretty much all the rich people.
It's all the rich people.
It's all the rich
Follow
people.
the rich. It's always the
Follow
rich
the
people.
money.
It's
Did it
always
remind-
the rich people.
Did any of it remind you of? Oh no, what was that movie of the Sherbert movies?
Sure.
Hot Fuzz.
I was literally going to say, so before we got off, I've got written down, I got Jaws, Sleepy Hollow, Predator, right?
Yeah,
Creatures,
okay.
monsters, something's killing a community.
Yep.
You get a little bit of Sleepy Hollow vibes. And then you get a splash of Hot Fuzz
Because
of the either the buddy cop adventure or the whole town's in on it. And they keep trying to push back and repress the poor people.
Yeah.
And it's fucked up.
I really wanted one of the cultists to just look at our main character and go, "Yarp."
Also, fun fact, he played the Hound.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
He did. And you know what? I mean, it's a classic Victorian, not even Victorian, it would be earlier than that. It's a classic
It's a pre-revolution France.
pre-revolution France swashbuckling tale
Yeah.
of
Peasants and just people on an
the
adventure.
uprising. Right, right.
Well,
I think-
pre-uprising. I think
Right.
it, based on the age of the, because there's a gentleman in here where this is really all his flashback. I
Who
think
is
uh,
Fronsac?
No, it's Jeremy.
Fronsac is the
Jeremy-
gentleman.
No,
Is he?
No,
it's-
Thomas Dapachier.
I thought that
Pache.
was
Yeah.
Fronsac.
See Thomas Dapachier? It's old Thomas Dapachier.
Oh, shit. You're right. I apologize. Holy cannoli.
Your
It-
apology is accepted.
It was a guy that he met in the
Yeah.
town.
he was the kid that went on that hunt where they lost Manny.
Yes.
Yes.
He's the reason he had to leave Manny because the kid got his arm bit and he
Yes.
was like, I'll take care of this.
Yes,
And then
yes.
Manny's left to his own devices and
Right.
gets bodied.
So he's kind of writing about how it all fell apart and how the society was eating itself from the inside out
But
the entire
I think
time.
the time difference is probably about 50 years. But 50 years before the revolution.
Yeah, I want to say. Because the revolution was 18 something.
I think it's kind of a story.
Y'all don't know
of-
your French history, neither
I'm
do I.
not a historian.
But I think it's
A
kind
lot
of a
of-
story of him. 'cause
Well,
he's,
drop in the bucket there.
he's getting the revolution breaking in his door and all the peasants breaking through his door. And he's kind of telling a story of like, bet you're wondering how I got here.
Right.
And also we kind of fucking deserve this. Look how we treated these people.
Right.
Which
We're
is kind of his tale.
But he was also like, yeah, I did my best though.
That's true. He was
Because
like,
of all the nobles, he was probably the least bad.
yeah, he definitely was the best of them. But I think there was I think the goal of the story was to tell sort of we kind of deserve, like the leadership of this country deserved this because look how poorly they treated these people.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the story.
Yeah. And this is how fucked up everything was. This is how we got here.
Because there's that one bit where he's talked to the second hunter and it's like, yeah, but if you fake the beast is still going to kill people. He's like, yep, but it won't be the beast.
It'll be something completely different. We'll call it a werewolf.
And
We'll call it
nobody
something
will
else.
hear about it because peasants.
So
Right.
once Manny's dead and the main character kind of figures it all out and goes hunting for these cultists, figures everyone, the guy with the missing arm is using his lion that he's trained to armor it up and act as the beast, whereas all the rest of the cults are sort of using him to control the lion
Right.
and make the story tale. And he shows up at the cultist ritual.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, I'm kind of glad they didn't turn him into a bat. Like he sort of sets up a scene where he's like, I'm going to avenge Manny
Right.
and be this rageful wrath that no
Right.
one could be. He kind of takes on the spirits of the thing. And
But
then
they-
he kind of just sucks at it, which makes total sense.
Yeah, because he's not Manny.
He's not
And he
Manny.
doesn't have Manny.
I mean, he's got the same
and there's
war paint,
moments
but
where
that's
like,
about it.
yeah, like he kind of, what is it? Like where he jumps and kind of goes like, oh, fuck. Like he doesn't land it kind of thing.
Well,
And-
he lands it, but he just doesn't have a plan. He's just angry.
right. And before that, even though is that before they do the funeral? Or after?
After the funeral.
That's after
Because
the
the
funeral.
funeral was
So
kind
there's-
of at an awkward time.
There is an awkward time and moment though, but it also shows like, hey, they're all grieving. And grief can breathe in a film
And
for a brief like a
also we
brief
talked
moment.
about-
We can talk.
He also talked about how Manny's culture, you have to burn the body at dawn. That's why he called off his present slaughter
Right.
and had to
Yes.
go back to
Right.
finish his proper business.
Which gives the other like the cultists chance to get away and everything starts to
Yeah.
fall apart.
and then he gets arrested, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So,
So
there's two reveals at the end. We know all the rich people are into it, and they're using this lion and so on and so forth. Did anyone like Sylvia's turn and how I'm going to assist you. I'm not the bad. You find out she's definitely someone of interest.
Yeah.
She's not the bad guy, kind of, because she is still an assassin for a secret pulp cult.
Well, on top
Pope
of that,
cult.
the Pope cult is saying, hey, Sylvie confirms like this is happening all over. I am not the only agent. I am not the only cult. This is like all his plans are his plans and there are wheels spinning and this is bigger than you.
Wheels
Yeah.
within
And
wheels.
that is the first, she is really the first touchstone of like, hey, just let this one go.
Yeah.
Let this one go. I like you. You're charming. Sex was fine. but like, let this one go
It
because
also-
it's way bigger than you, and
It
you're
also
not
felt
going to be able to
like,
do this.
You know when you start off in like a D&D adventure in your first, 0 to level 5?
Yeah.
Is you get to the end, you're like, we beat the evil cult. And you're like, oh no, you beat this one
Chapter. Yeah.
You don't understand. And then you're like, oh shit, I still got 10, 15 more levels to go.
Right.
And this is what that felt like.
This is
Right.
only the regional manager.
This is regional manager. Yeah. This is the first ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It felt really cool to know that they not only completed the story, they told the story of this area, but then they also were like, yeah, but there's more. This is nothing.
There's tons of stuff going on, and which
And she was a baller assassin, by the way.
right. So twist. Sylvie works with him.
It's kind of the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right. The older brother pulls out an arm
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
Because he's wearing a corset that binds his arm behind his back, which
right.
must hurt.
Oh yeah. Reveals that he has an arm.
And it's a fucked up arm.
It's a fucked up, gross arm. It's very pale and gross.
It's got like 2-inch long fingernails.
Abducts his sister.
No.
Kills his sister.
No.
Kills his sister.
No.
Have I even watched this fucking movie?
I don't know how far you want to go on this podcast.
Keep going.
But he forces himself upon the woman.
So he rapes his sister
in her bedroom and leaves her there.
Jesus.
And we find out at the end of the movie that she was almost dead, but they took at the end. Gregoire de Fronsac finds Manny's bracelet full of the magic healing dust,
Yeah.
and heals her
Yeah.
through plot armor. And the Thomas Dapache in his reminiscence talks about how I haven't seen them in so many years, but I could only hope they're happy.
But
Probably not knowing
The
Fronsac.
French Revolution. And,
Well, the French Revolution and how Fronsac was throughout the entire movie.
oh yeah,
He's a womanizer.
He's
Bouncing around.
He had
He's
two
like,
women the whole time.
I'm in
which
love
is-
with you. Bye.
I'm in love with you. I'm going to go stay at the whorehouse.
Right. I'll be back. I'm
with
staying
Monica
at Yeah.
Bellucci.
Can you just
Well, first of all,
forward all of my mail?
the first time, the first time we saw the whorehouse, based on what I know about the 1700s, and they had those powdered wigs, and you
Yeah.
walk into the whorehouse. My first thought was syphilis.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they all die. Yeah. No, the brothels, as much as they're trying to keep the brothels clean as possible and stuff, it's not.
So
It's not.
the woman resurrecting thing, actually, I kind of like that because the entire movie was this Manny believes in the supernatural and Gregoire does not. And so this whole journey is there magic? Is there not? Is this a beast? Is it not? And you end up going on this journey where Gregoire is right. It's not a beast. It's man-made bullshit.
But
But
almost
then right
does.
at the end, Manny's little bracelet goes, yeah, but don't lose the magic.
But was it? Smiling
But
away
it
to
was
the camera.
It was like medicine. Was it medicine powder? Was it
No,
magic
it's-
powder?
It's just don't know.
Ghost.
There might
with,
be magic in the
with
world.
Sylvia when she broke him out of prison.
Ghost
Spoiler: he goes to prison. She makes it look like he's dead, and they do a little Romeo and Juliet thing where he takes the poison and he's dead. They bury him, and she digs him up, and I assume gives him the antidote, or it wears off, or something.
Wears
Something
off.
like that.
So, holy shit. So, Fronsac almost goes through a supernatural event. He's fighting with a man who just grew an arm.
Yeah.
And we've got
Which,
the
by the way,
ivy.
was the dumbest hide I've ever seen.
I mean, the corset thing works in a way.
yeah, but why
It's
why was he hiding his arm? Who was he hiding his arm from?
That's what's going to be my question. Like,
because I think he
to
was
what
he was
end?
the fall guy.
To who was going to go, oh, the guy with the bunk arm is clearly the one leading the lion.
which,
think-
if you were to find out this guy outside of this mystery was faking missing an arm, you would then suspect that he was up to something. Because why would you fake an arm?
Yeah. It was all
You
it
guys
was
have never faked an arm before. You ain't living. That's all I
Guilty.
can say.
It was a red herring that they tried to throw in there just so you wouldn't. It was. Here's the deal. It
The
was
red
a
herring
plot,
of a red herring.
Yeah, it was a plot for us as the viewers,
Right.
not a plot that made sense within the movie.
Sure. But it was cool when he pulled out his arm and then he had the ivy blade from Soul Calibur.
The
And
ivy
he
blade was
kicked the
bomb.
shit out of everybody's ass. And they had to do that, not practically, but they had to do that CGI because
Yeah.
if realistically, everyone would have gotten hurt. You
Yes.
can't have something like that. The
Sure.
way they're throwing that around,
You
like
can't have blades on a whip.
you can't have a blade on a whip, which
Even
is
if it's
still
rubber,
incredibly.
You're still gonna that at the end of that whip, you hit someone with that
That's-
rubber.
Your eye,
They're
it's
done.
gone. So that also touches on very, very Bloodborne. That fight where they're bouncing around, just awesome.
It was great. It was a guy who's a scholar, not very particularly good at combat, but angry,
Right.
versus a dude who was once good at combat, but is now missing an arm and is, sub his prime.
He's like an uppity noble who doesn't really I don't think he's ever really had hardship aside from running to that lion that one time.
Yeah, probably
So
not.
do you guys think that he kept that arm hidden forever, or when he's with his cultists? Because when he's out with the beast, the arm's free. So is he practicing? He's taking this lion? Because the whole story and the whole reason why he not Manny, Fronsac finds out who killed Manny is because of the silver bullets.
Yeah,
He pulls the silver bullet out of Manny's back.
And he
And it
really
leads-
only uses silver bullets just to show off what he can do. Because, I like to sign my shots, so I'm going to use silver bullets because I just roll that way.
Right.
because I'm rich.
Which was
It's
the
like,
touchstone and the joke of, what do you think it's a vampire? Not a vampire. What do you think it's a werewolf? Right? And it's like, well, I'm using silver bullets because I'm that rich and I don't give a shit.
Yeah, they do make that. I do like that they give that red herring as well about the werewolf thing. Like, I
Mhm.
use silver bullets, and you're thinking that's going to be the Chekhov's
Chekhov's
gun.
gun.
There it is.
And it does fire.
We got to come back
It
to
does
get that.
play off.
Right. We have to
It's
go
just not the way we expect it,
Exactly.
which is great. Those are the little nuggets of like,
Right.
this is awesome. Like, there's clearly features of this that are awesome.
Right. So let's dial it back just quick because I think we got the plot wrapped up. What do you think of the costumes?
Amazing, on all accounts.
All accounts.
Yep.
The props
Monica
themselves.
Bellucci's outfit was just amazingly done.
The trench coats in the rain.
The trench coats in the rain and the trihorn. Oh, so cool.
Very French, very red, very period piece. Every frame of this film, whether you liked it or not, very almost like a painting.
Yes.
Very much like a painting, actually. I should say not very much, but a painting. The props are great. The beast itself, when it's practical, looks incredible. Holds up. Jim Henson,
They always do.
Creature Shop. Jim Henson's Jim Henson. You can't, come on now. A little long, yes. I definitely will watch this movie again. I would definitely put it up with Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's less of a Van Helsing or the remake of Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins'
Damn, yeah, you're right. It is in that same vein.
It's a little bit less of Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins' The Wolfman, where
Yeah.
it ends with this big CGI action set piece as much as it is a fight scene with a little bit of CGI props. But overall, fucking great French movie.
I think it's awesome.
Just a great movie.
Now, there was a little tidbit at the end. I don't know if when they're letting Manny's ashes off the side of the boat when they're on their adventure to go away from France, the name of the boat was Frère Loup, which translates to Brother Wolf.
Oh,
Very
awfully
nice. Very nice. Who in the film had the best
Well,
eyebrows?
let's bring up some pictures.
Oh my god.
Oh
all right.
my God.
Off memory.
Jesus.
Fine, I'll just go off the cover. I'm gonna have to go with Manny.
You want Manny's eyebrows?
He's a handsome gentleman.
Manny's got some great eyebrows. I also will second Manny with his eyebrows, but I will say, yeah, no, Manny.
Oh, I
Manny.
was going to go with Monica.
I was also going to go with Monica. I was also going to
She's
go.
got some thick eyebrows.
She's got some great eyebrows. Now,
Or,
the
Emily's not half bad neither. She's got some solid eyebrows. Sure.
when we get to Dune, you'll understand the joke more, and you'll be like, I know exactly who we're going to pick. And
Oh, God.
I cannot wait to do Dune with you.
So
for that.
understand, I have watched a little bit of Dune,
Okay.
but never gotten through it. I've always fallen asleep watching it.
Now, are
That
we talking
is-
about the movie or the series?
That
The movie.
The movie.
Right.
So here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. This was lovely. That was Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Next episode,
Okay.
we're going to watch Dune.
We're going to do Dune.
Oh,
And
We're
we're
gonna
going
do
to talk
some
about
homework.
Dune.
We're going to talk about Dune.
Not the new one.
No.
No. I've already watched
David
that.
Lynch.
David Lynch's version.
Twin Peaks, Blue Velvet.
Yes.
Have you seen any David Lynch films?
Oh, for sure. Of
Okay, I'm
course I
just
have.
asking.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Come
they're
on.
a little too fucking weird for people.
No, here's the thing. is
Eraserhead, like
every once in a while I'm very confused because this is what Raised by Spoilers is, Nathan, is every single time I come to the place, I think I've watched a lot of movies. And I have. Quite frankly, I have. But there's always someone that shows up and goes, well, did you watch this one? And everyone I know has watched it but me. So that's what this is about. That's why these are being brought up.
Well, it's more or less my life. Whenever somebody's like, "Oh, this movie," everybody's watching. I'm like, I haven't seen it, but
It's been very lovely talking about being in this brotherhood.
of the wolves. Yeah.
wolves.
We just have a bunch of wolves in here scraping it up. It smells awful.
So let's go around again. Nathan, who are you?
this has been Nathan, and I've had a lot of fun tonight.
Good.
Nathan, first of all, thanks for coming on.
Of course,
This has been lovely. I'm having a blast. I think movies are a lot of fun, and I think we should all watch more movies and put our phones down as much as possible. I am Rich. I'm at Geek Movie House. You can hit me up on all the social medias. And please request some films even if we're missing some. because we'd love to hear what you think we haven't seen or something that we completely maybe have missed and should watch.
Yes, join us on our Discord. We are on the Ronin Geek Discord. Links are always in the show notes.
Awesome.
So thank you very much. This is Plebby and Adam.